There we go. All right. Thanks everybody. It should be a relatively short-ish meeting tonight. Couple updates on incorporating as a nonprofit and the monitoring program. So we can go over that stuff. Our steering committee is going to meet after this meeting is done to talk about some of the plans that we have and some of the paperwork we need to fill out for that as well. So that is progressing, but as of right now, the steering committee consists of myself, Donna, Justin, and Leslie, Georgia, and Anthony. So we have been working the past since the last meeting, trying to get together some documents, and Georgia did an excellent job pulling together the articles of incorporation that we need in order to send to the state. And I believe Justin is, once we finalize that, Justin is going to go up and actually drive it up there and get it stamped and signed and stuff that day. So we're still on track, it seems, to hopefully be in, have that nonprofit status in the January of this next year. So that should be good. I don't think it'll be before then, but I'll have to like review the timeline and stuff like that. But any like questions or concerns or anything that's going on in the lake that you guys have observed at all in the last 2 weeks? Did anybody attend the dam commission meeting? Lou, I don't know if maybe you want to give a little update on like what happened there, or
Well, we working on a flyer like we are here for the meetings that we're going to be presenting at each town. And there's some dates, I don't remember what they were because the flyers are just in the introductory phase, but there's going to be 3 different dates. We're going to present a hearing basically for the towns. And so we're working on that, getting some information on how much more waterfront property is worth compared to people who don't live on the waterfront, so that we can convince the non-owners of waterfront property that it's in their interest to actually agree with us on helping with the dam, fixing it up. What else can we say? The brick grant that we were trying to get, we don't have enough time to do it. I think it's due within 2 months, and it just didn't provide enough time. So we were thinking of asking you, Nick, as you offered, but wouldn't want to put you going through that. There's just not enough time. So it looks like this year we won't be able to submit for that.
if you all change your mind, I can. I know sometimes you can kind of Frankenstein grants together from past grant applications. A lot of the information is the same, and I have like 50 pages of research from the stuff that I've presented on in the past that you guys are more than welcome to Frankenstein too if you end up by wanting to do that. But 2 months is pretty slim, definitely from a grant perspective. That's from my experience at least. But
Yep, thanks for the offer.
yeah.
Them to look at whether, because that's part of people with in the official proceeding of
Thanks,
Congress.
Lou, for that update. Any other questions about anything that's going on in the lake? I know we have a lot going on, and I apologize for being a little out of place right now, but we
not just the rioters themselves are people that are being looked at by prosecutors.
Oh, sorry, I thought someone was talking. I think it's the TV or something. Yeah.
Must be my TV.
Oh, no worries. So I can give a little update on the monitoring program. So I reached out to Linda Bacon who spoke to us on the main DEP panel. She gave me an excellent, like enormous email answering like all of the questions I had about what we should be tracking and kind of when. She also referred me to speak to Addie again about some of the metrics that are not really associated with like the internals of the lake that might be associated with the externals of the lake, like erosion rates and things like that, and like fertilizer use in surrounding farming land. And more like the external seems to be Addie, which makes sense because she's on the watershed management side, and the internal seems to be Linda Bacon, who's like the limnology and the internals of the pond and stuff like that. So I have a super detailed list on that, talking about like 10 to 12 different types of metrics that we should be capturing, how often we should be capturing them, if possible, and like some of the costs associated with getting the equipment and the possible training, which is something that we will need to address and talk about probably once we become incorporated at the beginning of next year, just because we would have to fundraise to supplement the cost of those things. Some of them do seem a little expensive, or not expensive. I'm sure they're adequately priced, but they do seem pricey. And some of the regular testing that needs to be done might need to be sent, or would need to be sent to labs. But I think it's all very doable. I think it's just a matter of training people up who are willing to do that type of testing on a regular basis, and then figuring out then a schedule, and then figuring out where specifically to target around the lake to do it. I think that that's very doable to set that all up before ice out, or in the springtime. So that's definitely a goal that is progressing and moving forward. So we should have some more progress on that coming into the new year, and we'll be discussing that a lot more in detail in the new year as well. So I think that's a big positive. And let's see. Any questions on that type of stuff?
Who is it you said, I'm sorry, who was it you said you had that meeting with about these matters?
Yeah, so I emailed Linda Bacon, and
Okay,
she's going to be
that's-
responsible. Yeah, sorry.
Linda Bacon, you said was responsible for the internal, and Addie was the, but who was it you had this conversation with that you're referring to? You had a long,
It was an email exchange, a long email exchange, and it was with Linda Bacon, because at our meeting,
okay,
yeah, at our meeting, we had asked about that type of monitoring. I think Wayne had asked that question then, and she responded and said that she has a lot of experience with it. Dan Garrett also is trained in some of that stuff too, and could be an asset to help train other people. And the Lake Stewards of Maine is also a group that we can utilize to help train us up as well. Tristan, like I said, did email me back too, and I think their classes start in the spring. So we have some time there to figure out potentially who wants to go through that training process. And I know I have a list of everybody who had volunteered for like their boats and stuff like that, which super appreciated of. For anybody watching now, or anybody on this, we're going to be definitely looking for people to actually go out and do the testing itself as well. And it's going to like be meticulous at times, and it has to be like, carefully done just to make sure it's accurate. But like I said, I think it's all very doable for us to do, and super excited to really get that plan rolling and get it laid out for the springtime. So,
What are some of the costs? You said it was kind of expensive, but like what?
yeah. So for an example, for testing the type of phytoplankton and zooplankton samples within the pond, so a cost for each of those tests is around $900. So she suggests we might be able to get away with it doing it monthly. So as you can see, like the more we would test for that, $900 a pop might be something we're not able to directly afford right away. But also too, I think once we incorporate as a nonprofit, I think maybe we could even potentially reach out and to these companies that do this testing and see if they have any avenues for nonprofit groups such as ourselves and things like that. There's also grant opportunities too, like small micro grants that I could easily try to like apply to in like a weekend or something. Not for like say $50,000 or $100,000, but maybe for like $5,000 to help alleviate some of those costs. There's a lot of like environmental grant programs out there that we can utilize both nationally and at the state level, both private and public grants. I think definitely like taking a deeper dive into that would be really advantageous for us, because it could offset a lot of the training costs potentially, and a lot of the actual cost of the testing, and maybe even potentially some of the equipment that we might need to buy. Another example is the lithium core samples, the EC core test samples. The core tubes for those cost about $200 to set up. But once we have that, then we have it. So we don't have to spend that cost again. But again, it's just like another cost on top of what we want to do. So it's just like I want to be 100% transparent with everybody when we talk about all this stuff, and it will take some time and money to potentially set up. But I think when we focus more on the fundraising aspect, once we're incorporated, and again, looking again at those like micro grant opportunities, I think there's some really productive ways to kind of alleviate some of those costs. So,
And Nick, I have a question.
yeah.
Have any of these courses,
Sorry, you cut out, Wayne. I didn't hear the last part.
have any of these core samples been done before?
Yes, yeah. Dan had been taking the EC samples for quite a while. I think overall testing stopped in like around 2018, but I think he was taking it a few times a year for that one. And I think that testing equipment was provided by the Lake Stewards of Maine potentially, because I think that's what Dan was associated with at the time. He's not, yeah.
I think the reason I asked the question is once we do this again, is there a way to do a comparison of what they were and what they are now, will be now?
With some of the metrics, yes, we will be able to do that. And like we've talked about before, it's more or less about like to really understand where we need to specifically target in the pond and have that information. It's more or less about frequency of how much we test, and like the frequency of how much we test is going to be different from what was done previously. So we want to try to up that frequency that was done previously and create new metrics as well that both Linda and I and others in like this type of world believe is helpful for making decisions.
And somebody will designate the areas that should be tested as a priority, or just random?
So I imagine it would depend on the type of testing. I'd like to try to coordinate it. So like, it's like a one-stop shop. Whoever's transporting this person that's testing, you go to these 5 points on the pond and do all of your metrics there. I need to take a deeper dive before I can like say with like clarity, like that which places we'll need to specifically test. Justin, you had your hand up? Or Leslie, sorry.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everybody. Just a quick question, Nick, regarding that core samples. I thought I remember when we had the meeting with everybody, I thought Linda said that we only needed to test those once a year. And I think she said like 20 spots around the lake. Do you remember if that was accurate or not? Or does anybody remember that from her presentation?
I do remember her saying that. I just can't remember which one she was talking about, unfortunately.
And I guess my other question, you said the tube setup was $200. How much does it cost to test the samples per se? Did she break that cost down, or was it just mostly the equipment?
She did do that for some of them. I'm assuming, hold on, let me just read this real quick. Some of these are like all-encompassing test kits. So you should be able to take the measurements then and there type of a thing, and then just write down the results. And I'm assuming the ones that she didn't specifically say need to be sent out to a lab are the ones that would have that all-encompassing testing thing. Like you'd be able to tell right there what that measurement was after, you followed the procedures for it. And as of right now, I'm not seeing anything specifically listed for that one. So until I take a little bit of a deeper dive into it, I think that might be the case, but I'm gonna hold off on saying yes or no. But yes, that's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Nick, do you
Yes.
have plans to record GPS locations for the testing sites? That way you can test at the same place every time?
Yeah, no, that's I know we've talked about that before, and if the boats who are like helping transport have that capability, 100%, I think that's the way we should go.
Well, you need a portable GPS unit.
Yeah, and I wonder even if Google Maps, if you have a good connection, might be able to give you a solid GPS location too.
I've got maps from the ocean that are awesome. We use offshore. I'm a licensed boat captain. What I have on my cell phone, I can show anybody how to do it. It's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And it definitely, sorry, go for it, Ken.
My Garmin unit will give you the GPS location too. And just a basic Garmin transport unit.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a positive. So like when we do like figure out where specifically we should be testing, it should be as like we should try to be as precise as a specific GPS location in that way. So
We've got to do all this testing this coming summer because next year we'll be able to do it with a four-wheeler.
Hopefully.
any other questions about that, the testing procedures or that update?
Well, I'm just curious what he meant by that.
Oh,
About testing it with a four-wheeler. I know it's a joke, but I'm just curious, what is there something I missed?
Now, if they drain the pond 9 feet, we won't be using boats.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
that is certainly something to consider too. If they do end up by getting the funding necessary to repair the dam, that's something that would affect readings that year. It would be like an abnormal year in that way.
Well, I've always wanted a four-wheeler.
There you go. It's going to probably be pretty muddy, honestly. All right. Let me just pull up. Oh yeah, just a shout out. Tom, I think he just sent me some pictures too, so I appreciate that. Oh
That's
yeah, wow.
today's.
Yeah, let me share my screen real quick, just so we have a reference for it. Just one of the photos from Tom that Tom just sent me from today. Did you say it was from today?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, just a little bit of ice on there. It looks beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Don't think I'd try walking on it yet.
No,
That's
not
pretty
yet.
I measured it last week before the rain and we had almost 2 inches. Really?
This
Wow.
guy hasn't taken his dock out yet.
2 inches, huh? Okay. Oh, that jet ski's still there, huh?
Ooh.
But that came from out around the point and it's frozen in the ice.
Oh my.
Oh,
The
no.
jet ski?
He may be
Is there-
sorry in the spring.
Oh,
I don't think it's gonna be, with the water and the pump and everything, it'll freeze. I don't think it'd be much good.
What is it? I can't.
Oh, it's
The
a jet
jet
ski.
ski.
Let me.
Oh, the jet ski? And where
Yeah.
was that? Oh,
It's
wow.
on Lakeshore Drive.
Oh, wow.
Did that float away from someone's
Yeah, it
dock?
came from it was on the beach from a point south of me. And it just came out around the corner and that's where she sits.
Well, if somebody's missing a jet ski and watches these videos, it's talk to Tom. He can tell you where it is.
Isn't there like an identification number on it?
Should have
There must be, but I didn't get that
registration.
close. I got another picture of it.
That should be removed. It's got gasoline in it.
I would think somebody wants it too.
Well, not only that, it should be reported to the Maine Game Warden Service.
Actually,
Yeah, because that definitely should be removed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things start freezing up and cracking open. You never
Yep.
know what's going to happen.
Yep.
It's frozen right in place right now. I've got a better picture, but I'll send it to you, Nick.
Yeah, Tom. I don't.
Yeah.
Do you mind emailing me the address of it? We can.
I don't know the number of the house. They're building a brand new house right there. It's on the end of First Ave and the Lakeshore Drive.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's Bonnet Cove.
Benai
If you can
Cove,
get
yeah.
Can get a picture of the registration numbers and the state can work with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely don't. Nobody do anything unsafe, like walk out there. But
It's
I'll
shallow.
send you
yeah,
a
yeah,
better
I think
picture.
it is. But
Okay, Lou, we'll send you out, bud.
I'm like,
If we return their jet ski, we might have a new recruit for our committee here.
I know maybe like short drive.
They owe us.
hold it for ransom. Yeah, hold it for hostage.
Well, let me share my screen again real quick. All right. You guys see the map? I think it's right around here. Is that right, Tom?
Go
Like-
go down a little bit. Hold on, where the heck am I? Trying
No,
to figure out where's
Go up, more north. It's
More
right
north?
before Nations Beach.
Okay.
you got me screwed up here.
Right
Okay,
there.
right there,
Right there.
right in there.
Right in there. That's where the house is, or the jet ski.
The jet ski, if you put your arrow down a little bit further, that's where it came from, and it goes north, up around the point. You don't have to zoom in. Keep going. You got a ways to go. Up around the corner.
No,
You've
too
lost
far.
me.
Too far.
Oh, too
Yeah.
far. Sorry. There's probably a delay on your end.
Right there, right about there.
Right about there. Okay.
That's where it is. Yep.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, there it is.
I think I know whose it is, but
Looks like an older one.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It probably should be very much removed.
Yes.
They'll have to chisel it out.
Yeah, maybe that
Get a
40-degree day.
flamethrower.
was-
What if they know it's missing?
Yeah.
They'll, Maine Game Warden Service will give them an opportunity to chisel it out. I can tell you if it's reported. It's like leaving your ice shanty out on the ice. It's, after a certain point, they have to come in.
Well, the
Yeah.
owner might not know that it's drifted away.
Right.
Should have
he's
taken
up
it
there all
out
the
2
time.
months
I
ago.
think he knows.
Should have been pulled out 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Same with the dock.
Somebody know that person personally and might be willing to reach out to them. Justin?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know who they are, but I'm just looking online here. Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife has an email. If you want to send me that picture, Nick, and kind of where we think the address is, I can send them an email and just say it's frozen in the ice on Sabattus Lake, and then they can deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you that email.
To be continued.
Who took the picture?
I
Tom?
did.
Tom,
Yes.
yeah.
Can you zoom in on it another day?
Well, I'm not
On
up
the
there. I'm in
registration?
South Portland.
Oh,
I went up there to check on our place today.
I understand.
Justin, I just sent you both those emails with the pictures that Tom sent. So, all right, yeah. See, that's why this is good to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got them. You gotta get a picture from the top.
Oh,
Gotta get closer to get the registration numbers. Because
And
of
I
the way
think-
it's shaped.
I think that's it, honestly, for tonight. Does anybody have any other questions or concerns or anything about that's going on? I know we have a lot kind of tabled right now, and our focus is kind of just trying to incorporate to do the fundraising in the new year. But any other concerns? Any updates on the logging or anything? Donna? Yeah.
Oh, I had a question for Lou. Lou, did you say that that the dam commission is going to put together a flyer and that you are then going to have 3 separate meetings, one for each town?
That's correct.
Okay.
We'll be distributing the flyers at each of those places. They'll be the same flyer, indicating different dates and times. And we were hoping to get an article in the newspaper before this to sort of,
well,
give a heads up to the people, but that didn't materialize yet. So we're still hoping to.
Try getting hold of Channel 13. See if you can bring them in on it. They've got people that do that type of thing. Or store, local stories.
Right.
Well, they were Eric was going to try and reach out to Dingingham.
Dillingham, yeah, he's a
Dillingham.
photographer. He was going to reach out to Mark LaFlamme,
Yeah.
who's a journalist, and that didn't happen. So I'm hoping it still does. And then, like you say, Dillingham is the photographer, so they could both come, as a public service.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I remember Eric called him right there at the meeting and
Right.
he answered the phone.
Eric,
So-
it wasn't Eric, it was
Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff
Oh.
Burrell. And Jeff
Okay.
wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't know what transpired.
Justin, you had your hand.
Yeah, sorry, it was just more of a question. Lou, the next dam meeting, commission meeting is January 3rd, correct? The first Wednesday in January?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you have like a rough estimate, Lou, of when you guys are expecting to do those community meetings? Like sometime in the spring or?
Oh, the hearings?
Yeah, the.
Oh, I wish I remembered. He was giving out a prospective flyer and it had the 3 dates and they're all prospective. We're trying to reach out to each town manager to make sure that we can get that room reserved. So nothing as of yet, but as soon as we do, we'll give a heads up.
Awesome. Cool.
Do you hope it to be this spring or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it has to be because we want it done before the town meetings. So that people will be educated and they can vote.
Yeah, they typically happen in May and June. Is that right?
June is mine, yeah.
May, I think May is usually Sabattus.
And I think green is even further, maybe in August or something. They used to all be in March, I think, but they've changed them.
All right, awesome. Anything else from anybody? No?
Oh,
Our steering committee will probably have to meet a few more times depending on like the paperwork or things that come up, but how does everybody feel about meeting again for the next time in the new year? Just a break for the holidays and getting this stuff in order, and then I can keep an email contact with everybody, send out updates when we file big things and things are in order, but maybe shooting for one of the first or second week in January, getting back together, or actually probably the second week because of the dam commission meeting being on the first.
Right.
good. It's good with
Yeah.
me.
That's fine.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Hope everybody has a great holiday. Everybody watching, like I said, just or anybody here, if you want to volunteer to potentially be someone that tests like some samples or work with us there, don't hesitate to reach out. We definitely need people and volunteers. Also send me pictures too if you have them. Tom, super appreciated it. I know we were really focused on the algae blooms and I received, like 90 plus over the course of the summer when we started that thing. So I'd like to
They weren't
really
all
have.
mine.
No, they weren't. Yeah, no, we got a lot from a lot of people. Wayne sent a lot. Lou had sent some, I think, too. Donna had sent some. A lot of people sent a lot. So I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to create a story, like a storyboard type thing where eventually when we have a website, you can go on the website and literally click on areas of the pond and you can see the dates where these pictures were taken, so you can kind of see a little date over time or like, how things look over time. Not like 100% perfect, but definitely I think it tells a story, so an important one. So I know nothing might not be happening concerning algae blooms this winter, of course, until the spring, but definitely like, if something interesting out there, like the jet ski or, stuff like that. So just keep your eyes peeled, and honestly, a great meeting. Really appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you have a great holiday with your families and a good new year. So
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
again.
Tom, for
Okay.
taking those pictures.
yeah,
No
Bye-bye.
problem.
not a
Merry
problem,
Christmas
everybody.
again.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Well, have a great night. And steering committee, if you don't mind just staying on for us.
Are you done? Was he on there?
There's quite a few.
Why is it so fast?
Didn't have a lot to say. They got a meeting going.